$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger Covenant, break up 7 seals. The reason they don't take that challenge, brothers and sisters, is because they can't. It's been out there for a long time, months, years. And no one's ever, not one time, step up. They're aware of it. So many nasty grams and things like that, right? Nasty comments, but they never take this challenge because they know they can't. And that bugs them because I'm calling them out. Like Lion Ishmael says, no one ever called him a liar. I call him a liar all the time. He knows I call him a liar. So he's lying right there. That's all they do is lie over there. They say, oh, it's forbidden to tell you lies. That's all they lie, do is lie. That's a lie that he just said. And plus all he does is lie. And plus he say, well, Allah told Farrakhan to be quiet. Well, you're a spokesman, so you should be quiet too, right? It's all bullshit. They all just lies over there. It's lie. That's all they know how to do. And they're desperate. We're going to talk about that in a minute. All we do is lie over there. But that's good because they manifest themselves. I'll get to that in a minute.
$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings. Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Still having voice issues, brothers and sisters, so I'm going to try to get through this. But they said most grievous chastisement. I can't emphasize that enough, brothers and sisters, but it's coming. Like I said yesterday, something very dramatic is about to happen. Not talking about what's going on right now, that so-called peace agreement. I wouldn't put too much into that. But no, it's something very dramatic is going to happen. When you see it, you recognize it, but I can't speak to it right now. Something dramatic is going to happen. Right? Very soon, before this war breaks back out. Something dramatic is going to happen. That means this war is going to break back out any time now. So what's this dramatic thing will happen very soon. Very soon. It's going to surprise you. And I say it's going to shock you. It may shock some other people, but it's going to surprise you. And then you're going to say, well, I should have saw that. Some of you might say that. Anyway, fuel for fire. Great and dreadful, brethren. Great and dreadful day of the Lord. This can't get this message over to people clear enough because the problem is people, would they hear, right? Let me check something real quick, brothers and sisters, real quick. 1 second here. It has some additional background noise at the wash. Problem is, brothers and sisters, that we don't have thorough knowledge of ourselves. We understand things, and the way we usually relate to things or interpret information is based on our current state of affairs, which is not right. Okay? In other words, if you feel good, right, then that's where you're going to feel about the message. Okay? Because everything's comfortable for you, so you're going to look at it from your emotional condition. That's how you're going to receive it. So you mix your emotions with your message. You shouldn't do that. Take the medicine, because what you're doing is you're corrupting the message. So it's like somebody, man, they high on crack, man, they feel really good. When they say, fire, oh, okay. They go back and get another shot, right? Because they feel good, man. They ain't feeling that fire. They're going to feel it in a minute. They ain't feeling that fire because they interpret based on how they feel. You may not realize that, but 99.9% of you do that. I used to do it now. When I recognize it, I say, oh no. I take information on based on, right? Look at it. What's the word I want to use? Not emotionally, right? Objectively. Keep my emotions out of it and inspect it and check and see if what I've been doing that for almost all my life, right? I guess I came to that realization early in life. And I said, oh, like I said, I like to think things through. I looked at it around. I don't want to go into a lot of detail here, brothers and sisters, but I looked at my life. So I was in the military, and what drove me, I said, my mother was she was hardcore Baptist, and she died when she was young, there, early 20s. She's young. She had me when she was a teenager, right? I was the only man she ever knew, and that's a long story there, but. And but he wasn't into that. In fact, he was right getting his processing. I didn't know it. No thing would change because he passed when I was 14, so I was mother 9 and he had 14. He was processing, but I didn't know that's what that was about. We lived exactly 1 block away from Temple 25 in Newark, I think. I forget the name of that street. I think it was called South Orange Avenue. We lived actually 1 block away from it. And he took me in there one time. I had no idea what that was. And I found out when I processed him. I said, "Are you doing that stuff your father was doing?" That's how I found out that he was, I don't know how far he got. And to make a long story short, if that's possible, I was in Vietnam, and this chaplain came. He told me, like I said, I wasn't into religion, but I was nervous about it because, well, I might as well talk a little bit about this, brothers and sisters. So the problem is, you don't know the difference between your brain and your mind. Most people say, hey, your mind, they think the same thing. It's not the same thing. Your brain does the processing. Your mind just feeds information, and it controls information that comes in and goes out. And the computers have something called a compiler that does that. It takes information and checks it, verifies everything that was in it, put it in the computer process it. And the result you're going to get is based on the information that comes in. It's only going to process the information that comes in. So if they control the information, they control because what comes out is the answer, a decision. So they control your decisions, which means they control your actions based on information that they allow you to get, that you have access to. And we was in the fields, we had no access to information. We barely knew we was alive. They told us they was slaves and everybody was, all the information we had. And that kept us docile to the most, unless you just got real tired, angry, you just jumped up and got wild. Otherwise, that's what you was told from the time you was able to be told anything. That's the information you had. That's all the information you had. You know it's a planet. You know you're on a planet. You know anything. You know what east or west. You know there was such thing as east and west. See, we don't appreciate what happened to us. Total blackout information. And here's a guy, Willie Lynch, says that's the way to keep them enslaved for another, I think, 1,000 years. Something like that, I forget. They control the information that came in. So you were doing things then that you get sick of it doing now. You're master pleas, like begging us. You wouldn't do that now, but that's what it is. It was like little puppies. That's the way they treat us. This man said, that's what they have us do. They have you get down and, even Mandela, when they showed a movie about him, when he was in prison, now they have some knowledge, right? But this is how cruel they were to them. Because one of the punches they had is they would actually make them eat shit. They showed it on the movie. Actually made them eat shit. Wow. And they had to do much worse than that. Much worse. Control it. And not only control, they didn't allow us to have any information. It's one thing that propaganda, distorted information, is another. Don't have any information at all. So you reduce to an animal. It reduces the animals because you need information to think. So you had no information, you couldn't even think. It's yes, a mass, no, some mass, pick that cotton, whatever. You had no ability even to think. You couldn't read, you couldn't write. You had no ability even to think for hundreds of years. So you see, our people right now, they ain't about thinking. If you lay in that bed for a year and don't do anything later, when you come out, your muscles and everything will be gone. You don't even want to use them. It'd be so weak, you don't even want to use them. You don't even want to get out of bed because it's too hard. It's too hard. You could be the Hulk and lay in that bed for a week or a year. You come out, you can't even lift a glass. You don't even want to live because it's too hard. That's what's happening to our people. We got the most powerful brains on the planet, in the universe. Own a cream of the planet of God universe, but we've been not able to use for 100 years, so our brain is so weak that we don't even want to use them. We don't even think about using them. You don't even realize they're even there. So everything is physical. You like physical stuff, sports, all that stuff. Thinking is something that you don't even. It ain't your fault. But that's going to change in a minute. And when you start thinking, God damn, woohoo! When you start thinking, that's the last thing they want you to do. That gets into what's going on in the world right now. I'm going to talk about in a minute. So let me finish. Let me play these down to get to play. I need to play these things, right? I don't need like to plan them, right? But it's part of my mission because I gotta point out that Lion Dog Farrakhan. He's all but gone. Those are our brothers. That's not what Master Muhammad said. That's not what Elijah said, but Farrakhan said that's the case. Watch him.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flagler as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother.
3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. 5. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold, therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. 6. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
That's the real Messiah talking. Saw anything like that? Just show you just saw. So let me get back to this other thing I was talking about, emotions. See, they call it, the military, a term called pacifying. Like when you give a baby, he's crying, give pacifier. And the pacifier is nothing. I mean, it's just something sucking on. It's not going to beat him or anything. He's just sucking on it. But he's quiet. It gets him quiet. Okay? So that's one thing you do. Like all kinds of, like you want to catch a mouse, you put something in a trap. You put something that the mouse likes, so you run to it. And they use all these tricks on us. See, first of all, they pacifying you with all these stupid movies. All of a sudden, everybody in the movies interracial and everything right now, right? That shit ain't real. If you think it's real, just go out and drive around so-called black neighborhoods. See how they doing. Then go out to so-called white neighborhoods. See how they doing. But that's not what you see on TV. And now all the big stars, right? All the late movies they're making it lately. White significant other, white wife, white husband. All this is to pacify you. Make you think. Or like they got what's that movie? What's that guy? The clown? What's his name? I can't think. He's he has kind of espionage group. It's stupid. And he's doing billion-dollar deals. That's bullshit. But they got to be believing. It's like they have these movies with these females out there, man. She weighs about 100 pounds. She's kicking all these Chinese super kung fu guys' ass like they ain't nothing. That's bullshit. But they do it, and it's okay if you recognize that it's just bullshit. Yeah, but some people actually believe in that stuff. Because where they have it, all their guys super. Yeah, still they went over Afghanistan. They couldn't beat They put the whole military army out there, the best. They couldn't beat sheep herders. Then they went to Vietnam, they couldn't beat right stompers. That's the reality. But when they pass by, in other words, if they make you, that's when they approve marijuana. Now you're saying stuff, but that's to keep you calm, pacify you. So you don't see them close in on you. Because you ain't gonna be paying attention to that. If a guy's out there, he's a huge fugitive, right? These guys hit on a crack pipe. You think he's paying attention to what's going on outside? They closing on him, cops and everything closing on him. You think paying attention to that? No, he's high. He's paying attention to high, and that's what they're doing. But see, that's one of the things we're gonna snap you out of. Because right now, for some of you, it's not gonna be fast enough because they got you thinking about the stuff that, especially all the stuff going on in the world. Those clowns are, our clowns are there. They trying to get on the bandwagon now. Like I said, all before me, thieves and robbers. Because they, oh man, something happened. Why don't you be specific for a change? Something happened in a few more days, and you're gonna see all this stuff happening. Okay, but what is that something? I'll be specific, except there's one thing I'm not saying right now. I'm specific, detail about everything else. And you'll understand why I'm being specific and not being specific right now when you see it. But the thing is that a lot of people sitting around, they talking about NFL, all this stuff going on, and they're not paying attention to anything goes past. Because now, if you didn't have any food and you're hungry, then you be alert, looking around. And that's intentional. That's it. They got all these things. They got music. They hit me with some other night because I had some dreams I never had before. Never had anything like it. So I know they hit me with something. And do you think that's a joke? It's not a joke. And I'm serious. I told you what they do is they take the music. Think about this. Well, I don't want to get too much detail. But they call it, what they call it, white music, I think they call it. White noise, something like that there. White noise. That's the name of it. Hold on. Say this correctly. Because they have it. Well, all the stuff's coming screen, her brothers and sisters. I can come and tell you, I talk blue in the face, and it's not gonna matter. They put this book called what do you call that book? I forgot. It came out in the 70s. Think of the name of it. Brothers and sisters, can't remember anything anymore. Yeah, white noise. No, it's not white noise. Well, I don't think it's called white noise. I think it's called something else. It's called white noise. But anyway, it's when you go to a Walmart place. It's no words. It's on a frequency and wavelength that you can't hear, like dog whistle. But your subconscious hears it. And so say buy this or buy that. Also, you got the no. Look it up. I'm not sure I said it right, but look it up because this is a fact. Oh, subliminal suggestion. I think I was subliminal. I think I was naming the book. Subliminal. I think that's Anyway, I think it's a bit of a suggestion. So frequency, and another way, this guy published his book in the 70s. And subliminal, I'm not sure what the last part, I think subliminal suggestion. And the whole idea is how they manipulate you. And then you see, because like, you see a movie, they just had the reels, okay. And what happens is that like your eye picks up so many reels per second. They pick up in other words, they run at a certain speed, right? So you pick up every other wheel. So in other words, you see this one, the next one you don't see, the next one, because your eye don't catch it. I don't. Your eye is like a snapshot. It's not continuous. It takes a picture, takes a picture. That's where your eye works. Takes a picture, right. So if you take a picture, your eye takes a picture every second. If they run two wheels in a second, you're only gonna pick up one of them. Because you're only gonna pick up one every second, so every other one you're gonna miss. Right? However, right, your subconscious got it. And so what they was doing, and this is a fact, they was doing, like when you go to driving or something, a movie, the one that you didn't see, they have an ad that said, get popcorn, buy popcorn or something. Or so you got to urge for popcorn. See, because your subconscious mind is not protected. Or so because your conscious mind is protected. So, I don't want that, man. That's not good to eat that stuff. Right? Because you got that guard there. But subconscious don't have that guard. So, oh, man, all of a sudden you got urge for popcorn. That was named in the book, Subliminal Suggestion. And same thing with noise. Because you don't have, it goes to your subconscious, right? It means your conscious is just below your, right? How you say it? I hate this language. It's just below your recognition level, put it that way. So, and they manipulate you like that, and you don't realize it. Most you don't never realize because you don't even read. Now, I was aware this in the 70s when they published that book, and I started looking around. Then they was like saying, even, and then they would ask, because I was working for Montgomery Ward's at the time. I had my first computer contract, first computer job. Montgomery Ward's, and that book came out. And so they were saying that what they do is, like they do it in books too. Like they advertise with books and catalogs, and they'll take, like, a colorblind person, they don't see certain colors. When they do certain colors that normal person wouldn't recognize. And I looked at the catalog, I looked real close. And when I looked real close, it was there. You was going there, you see a bed. And you're just looking, right? But if you really look real close to it, there was a naked girl on the bed. You didn't see it consciously. You had to really look real hard to see it. And it was there. But your subconscious saw it. You just, why am I looking at this thing? Wow, I'm attracted to this. The reason I'm saying this, because that's one of the games they play on you. They're doing it with music too. Because music, right? They put lyrics in there, and frequency you don't recognize or you may not even, well, I don't want to get too deep in this, brothers and sisters, because somebody could talk just like I'm talking to you right now, but they talk in such a way like this. I'm just thinking about Trump. He's saying, well, people in the cities, right? We can't get them out there to pick the cotton. And so, if you ain't paying attention, he won't say the niggas say in the city. So they can talk to you directly, but because you ain't paying attention to what they're saying, or you ain't never checked the language out, they're actually talking about you and you don't even realize it. And I used to watch these, I don't do it anymore. I used to watch these Sunday talk shows like Face the Nation, that kind of stuff. And they were doing it all the time. They was talking about black people and all that kind of stuff. I says, don't black people know what they're saying? Don't they understand what they're saying there? They was doing it all the time. You're probably still doing it. I just stopped watching it. I got more important things to do. And the problem I'm saying in music, doing the music too, because they did it first, it was obvious with the lyrics. What they would do is, like when Tupac and Sister Soldier, when they didn't have all that bitch, whole lot of stuff in their music. Niggas, they have all that in there. If show me I'm wrong, because I came through during that time, and I didn't see all that stuff in there. Sister Soldier, and you know who knocked her? That's Bill Clinton. He was running for president. We got to give her people like Sister Soldier, that young black girl. Why you speak on her like that? Yes, he did. I don't know if it ended her career because I ain't heard too much from her after that, right? Because she was popular. Sister Soldier, she got in. You know, I told you she was, you know, she was putting those vibes out there. So it's Tupac. And then all of a sudden he was gone. And now he comes up, people come in, oh, nigga, ho, bitch. And then you got the sisters, they rocking to that. Because they like the music. They ain't paying attention to the lyrics. But what happens, they doing that, and they playing at home, and their daughters are there. See what I'm saying? But they ain't paying attention, they playing, yeah, man, boy, it's jamming. But then they got a little more subtle now. Because they studied the brain. See, when they got the D and all that kind of stuff, studied the brain, they said, okay, what frequency of stuff affects the brain a certain way? If you play this kind of music, you know, because music affects you. Some make you sad, some affects your brain. Some music make you sad, some make you excited, some make you angry. So they figure, what wavelength, you know, what frequencies and everything affect your brain, right? And everybody got different type, you know, we affect it differently than they are for music. I was trying to tell people, they say, oh, white people can't dance. They can dance. The problem is, they ain't feeling what you're feeling. They ain't picking up all that wavelength enough so you thinking. The way they dancing to is what they're hearing. So you can tell how much what they're hearing by how they're reacting. Because they're dancing, but that's what they're hearing. You get it? They can dance, but that's what they're hearing. And we hear all of it. We hear the whole spectrum. So we're moving, well, maybe something wrong with me because I'm almost as bad as them. But well, maybe, I don't know. But the problem is that that's what they're hearing. And so the thing is they take and they say, okay, what beats and everything, notes and everything, is going to have you feel a certain way. And they make sure that gets put into the music. And you think these people, and they oh man, well, it's the black people, they put this, they put it together. Yeah, they may have. We sure they ain't work for the devils? Are you sure about that? And if they wasn't, the devil come and tell them, hey man, you want to get people rocking like this here, use this, you keep it on this level. They don't have to tell them why. Y'all want to make money, man. What's that? That's a weapon they perfected. And you're going to find out about in a minute. Because when hell breaks loose, right, it's a military weapon, that one. See? Because certain ways put fear, certain music put fear in you. So if they get in a battle, they turn that on a loudspeaker, all of a sudden everybody's afraid. Can't fight you, so you got so much fear. There's a protection from it, right? Because that emotions, it's affecting your heart. Your heart you start beating. But you got to be able to control your heart, and we know how to do that. There's protection from that, but they do have it. And if you don't have protection, you're gonna run away. All of a sudden, you got so much fear, and it's overcome you. You can't fight like that. You're gonna see it in a minute. So let me move on, brothers and sisters. I'm just saying, but the main point I was trying to make a minute ago is that we're looking at things based on how we feel right now, and they make us feel complacent. They make us feel okay, you got enough food, plus stuff they're putting in our food. That's another story right there. I don't know if I get that, brothers and sisters. You know, they mark food. And I will not go into an all black neighborhood and buy food. I will not do it. I know the food they're getting is different foods going on in the white neighborhoods. What they're putting in it. You may not realize that when you do it. I have some idea about that because when the mess was around, I used to go and buy beans and stuff. You know, for the brothers and sisters, right? And I don't want to get deep in the story, but I found out why I was getting them so cheap, because I came in one day and I heard somebody talking. What happened is they had different bean. Well, how do you say it? There are two different categories of bean: A bean and C bean. They all look alike. But the A beans over here, the B, C, and that was A grade, that's top grade, B grade and C grade, whatever. C grade, that's the one that was going to the black neighborhoods. That's when they was giving me. And I stopped doing it. Because they had different classes. What happens when you go and buy from these so-called foreigners, Indian stores and these Arab stores, coach and that kind of stuff, when they go and buy their stuff, they get this inferior stuff, which is cheaper. It's inferior. And you don't know what the hell is in it. So you don't know this stuff. But you know about NFL. If I asked you to spell NFL, you couldn't do it. How do you spell NFL? How do you spell NBA? And all this stuff is happening around you. Well, since I'm on that subject, I don't think I'm going to get into my subject today, but just because, you know, I was trying to explain to people. I says, if things seem confusing to you, or it doesn't make sense, because everything makes sense, everything is mathematical, but if it doesn't make sense to you, that means because you don't have all the facts. You have all the facts. He's like, you think that don't matter? Okay, devils didn't know the world was round for thousands of years. That kept them over there. Because they didn't have just that one fact. They thought if they went to the edge of the, went out the ocean far enough, they'd fall off. They didn't know about gravity either. They thought even fall, they just fall. So it went to Columbus, which was wasn't the devil. He had original rights, original man, but he was right. He convinced that the world was round for thousands of years. They didn't come anywhere near this place. They thought the world was flat. See, they had so that lack of information kept them bottled up over here for thousands of years. Other people knew about it. The people that got over here, they knew about it. How did they get over here? See what I'm saying? They have all the facts. And so the point is they control your facts. That's where the mind comes in, because the facts is data. If they control the data comes in, that means control your actions. It's like when you're in the fields. You can run if you want to. Where are you going to run to? You know, north, south. You know anything. Where are you going to run to? Even if you wanted to run, where are you going to run to? That's why they kept it very close. Very few people they let get out of there to someplace else, and they still didn't know about north, south, east, or west. Where are you going to run to? You mean, man, where are you going to run to? You didn't know. It makes sure you have the information. And that's right now you don't know. That's why you see stuff going like what Farrakhan's doing. They don't tell you about Jonah. I mean, excuse me, Joshua. Why don't mention Joshua? Why don't mention the message of the covenant? It's right there. It's right there. It says, the message of the covenant will come to Elijah's temple. It's not Elijah's last one. But then, well, when Aaron come in, oh, well, nobody's after Aaron. That's not what Malachi say. That's not what it says. It says the message of the covenant will come. And the message of what covenant? If he's messing the covenant, you want to know what the covenant is. So you go look at the covenant. The covenant says, we return to Arabia between the river Euphrates and the river Egypt, which is, look on the map, that's Arabia. And they don't mention that either. They mention about, we're going to be here 400 years, that kind of stuff. And that's the next verse, don't mention it. So therefore, they tell you we stand here. So, hey, that'll play, won't it? Where else do you want to go? You don't know you have a reward. So, hey, So yeah, we deserve, because what they tell you, oh, you're here because you was punished. So now you feel inferior. Oh man, God hates me. I got cursed blacks. That all stuff starts making sense then, doesn't it? They tell you, well, you got cursed black. You know all these so-called space movies? Everywhere you go in the universe, everybody's white. You notice that? I don't care if you go to another universe, another dimension, they're all white. That reinforced the idea that you something different about you. You got cursed black because everybody else is white because black is bad. And then Farrakhan comes on his stuff and you don't see it, you don't see the connection because he reinforced an idea. He reinforced an idea because he tell you about how we got over here because you know, how we got over here as punch and everything else, but you don't get a reward. There's no reward. So because if he tell you got a reward, then that means, well, how are we going to be rewarded being punished? So he don't tell you got a reward coming. He said, no, you came over here and you're sinful, you're wicked, you got to atone. So it's punished. But if you know you got a reward, then you know this was a sacrifice we made, not a punishment. See what I'm saying? But see, you don't know that because you don't know all the information. So you know he's actually condemning you. He's actually working for them. He's actually reinforcing their idea that you was punished, you was cursed black. He can come out and directly say it because he got to. If you're a wolf in sheep clothing, well, you got you got to keep everything in sheep language. You're eating the sheep, you're killing the sheep, but you can't let them know that's what you're doing. So you got to sound like a lamb, look like a lamb. Was he reinforcing that? Because why didn't he tell about messing the covenant? Because if he tell about messing the covenant, then he got to tell you about the covenant. If he tell you about the covenant, then you got a whole different idea now. Because then he can't tell you that shit about you ain't going nowhere, even though Elijah Muhammad said you were fool to stay here. But they information. He's part of what's, because Elijah Muhammad told you, you're going home, you're the God. They're the ones that were cursed. No, devil ain't devils no more. And we all brothers. Skin is this and this. And you'll see what's going on there. So if this is no different, then how come yours is black? Okay. He's reinforced what he's saying, but he can't come out and directly say it because then they expose him that. Because he claiming he's hiding under Elijah. He got Elijah's mask on. So he's got to sound like Master, even though he's eating this, right? Because he says he's robbing the nation. That's why he's cursed with a curse. But he's got to look like Elijah. But he ain't representing Elijah at all. He's representing the devils. Because why don't he tell you about the message of the covenant? It's right there. So that's the one you delight in. That's the one that's going to get you home. He's going to do all these great things for you. Not Aaron. Aaron did all kinds of bad things. In fact, Aaron was one trying to turn your mind. Be with Aaron. Mine was trying to turn your heart right back to the white folks, right back to Egypt. And that's what he's doing. Oh man, I don't want to see it happen in America. I love America. I want to stay here. Why? Because he's a demon. His father's a devil. That's a known fact. Well, maybe we got proof. He said it himself. We got him saying it. Father, the devil raped his mama. That means they try to hide that too. Well, if his father was a devil, he's a devil too. See, his father, you understand? So all these things they're doing. So think about this for a minute. See, you see, like I said, something confusing or that makes sense because you have all the information. Because everybody's saying it doesn't make any sense what America is doing with false Israel. It just don't make any sense. Why are they doing that? Why everything? False Israel doing anything? Why is America support? Why? And they come up with all these weird ideas. None of it makes any sense because you don't have all the information. But once you have information, start making sense already. Because see, one of the things they've done, that's why they want to release these Epstein files. Part of it is in there. They got other stuff too. But see, the thing is that you got a lot of people around here that's Zionists. Remember, they you know, well, all the false Israel, they Jews, they Caucasian too, right? But these one called Christian Zionists, so to speak, right? Like John Hagen, those guys, or they love Jews more than they love themselves, right? Well, so-called Jews, whatever. And then you got a lot of so-called Jews out there that's incognito. Don't identify as Jews. So they blend in with all other devils, friends with them. And then they get them talking about us. And they know, and they talk freely because they one of them, right? Remember, there's a Messiah, they infiltrate. See? Because they've been enemies, Christians and so-called Jews, been enemies for 2,000 years. They ain't forgot it. That's the whole story. That's no story together. I'll explain to you. And they take that stuff. Because in the background, Biden and all those people, you think they talk like that? And when they're alone with their friends, their white friends and stuff? No. They say they really, and they take all that stuff. That's what they got that. That's what they're holding over them. See? But their plans for us, I don't want to get rid of us. All the stuff they doing, they can't come out and say it. But they can record that stuff. If you fuck with us, we're going to play it. We're going to say what Biden really thinks about y'all. We're going to say what Hillary really thinks about y'all, what Clinton, what these people really think, and what their plans are for you. That's why they're so desperate to keep that stuff quiet. Keep it out, keep it being exposed. Now, then the Democrats too. The ones that know, the ones that don't know, they try and expose, and then they're going to wish they hadn't in a minute. That's what's going on. That's one of the things that's going on. Aside from all the blackmail stuff they're doing with the noble stuff with Epstein files. That's what they did. Say, let's file where they really tape it, record it, secretly record it. And that's what, oh man, these black folks find about that, man. Oof. I really feel, but they got a plan for them. What's going on? They're closing on you. And right now they're doing it right in front of your face. And what that makes them think that, we know that makes them think, they think, yeah, you must be animals. Because here it is. We putting a trap, we set a trap all around you, sitting around here, you still talking about what LeVon James Jones, or whatever his name is, LeVon James, whatever his name is, what he doing? They're setting up, they're putting the military in all these cities, mostly black cities. This trap's already been set. Of course, nobody said anything. And I got these tapes, right? If you let's play closely, see what they're saying. They're saying it's going to be a race war. Because we got to conform to them. They ain't going to conform. But they both said, why we got to live like them? If you're a cat in dog land, you're not going to be happy. Because if you act like a cat, you're a criminal. Because the laws are based on how they act, not how you act. You're not going to be happy because you have to act like a dog, and your cat cannot be happy acting like a dog, and we cannot be happy acting like them. We got a little dog, right? Eating the same shit they eating, and all the stuff they doing, and now we got high blood pressure, diabetes, all the venereal diseases, and everything else. You see? Because we're trying to live like them, it ain't us. But we try to act like, start trying like we want to be who we are. Try to regain your name and your religion, that kind of stuff. All of a sudden, you got a job. Tell me it's not true. I know it's true. That's why I started my own business. See? I couldn't be an employee because I couldn't keep a job. They didn't want me around. My name, and I don't talk that bullshit. I don't. Like I'm talking now. I mean, I don't get in their face, call them devils and all that kind of stuff. But I don't waste time talking. I don't want to hear about your sports. I was in the gym about 3 months ago. Maybe a little longer than that. I go in the sauna, right? And usually the sauna's probably late. Everybody's cool, mellow, but these man, but you got some Negro bust. They just as bad. So all of a sudden, a couple people come in, they run their mouth. I'm saying, what the hell, man? I'm trying to cool out here, man. I ain't feeling this. So everybody left except this one guy, this devil, right? He started talking, I shut him down right away. I said, hey, man, I don't want to hear your bullshit. I told him right away, I don't want to hear your bullshit, man. I'm here I'm trying to, mellow out here. So he didn't say nothing. So he finally went on his way out. He said, thank you for being honest. Thank you for being honest. I tell people don't know me. They don't know me at all. I don't talk to them. I don't waste time with them. I don't play games with them. I just don't do it. What am I talking about? You want to talk is, I remember one company one day says, well, they'll come because that's when they write ask you say good morning. That's not a greeting that's not a greeting they used to give to each other. That's a greeting came doing was in the fields. That greeting was to test us to see how we're feeling. Good morning, nigga. Oh yeah, you better be so yeah. That wasn't no good morning for us, but they was testing you to see your emotional level. Make sure you weren't gonna do nothing drastic. Yeah, man, I said good morning. I never say that. So I'm outside the gym one morning, and waiting a little early. And Dad opened up yet, and he walks over to me, man. I mean, I like them shoes you got on, man. I didn't say anything. He said, yeah, man, I know you've been here, man. What's your name? I said, I don't know. What you mean you don't know? I said, I don't know. You don't know, I don't know. What they call you? What y'all been calling me? You been calling me nigger. That's the name y'all gave me, right? Boy, that dude turned blood red. Because the truth. I don't know my damn name. My name is nigger. Name you gave us. Ralph Bucklehead. John Dumbass. All these stupid ass names. Some of us were so afraid that we rejoice in those names. Oh, my name is Dick Doublehead. I'm from Arizona, man. I love the Patriots, man. And they laugh at you because they know. They laugh at you because nobody on the planet would do that. Now, in 2020, we was commanded to submit to them. 1619 to 2019. That's the 40 years after that. It's over. For that, I ain't say anything. But then 2020, their judgment would start. Then let us go. What happened in 2020? First plague. Right on time. See, they don't want you to know this stuff. Who was it getting? They first said we were dropping like flies was a lie. All you gotta do is Google it, go to the World Health Organization and find out that it didn't affect Black Africa, it didn't affect Haiti, it wasn't affecting you either. It's affecting skin folk. It wasn't affecting us. It didn't bother me. I was in my 70s at the time. I'm still in my 70s. Okay. That's the first of 9 plagues. There's one going on right now. I was going to talk about today. I may hit on it. Okay. But the thing is, right? It's an information war here. And they're controlling the information you get. Just like that Bill Cosby stuff. Now, Bill Cosby, black folks did not write that stuff. Check it out. White folks wrote that stuff. And they had a problem back then in the 70s. They said when you start seeing black folks start looking one more, more control. Say, hey, no. Because black families was tight when I was growing up. The black neighborhood, it was everybody knew everybody. We used to go to bus rides. Every neighborhood get together, bus rides, and go to places. That was New Jersey. That was right down in North Carolina and everything too. We should, the holidays, we all head down North Carolina, relatives, everybody get together. That's where it was. It ain't like that now. I don't know anybody is. I talk to anybody. You think that, how did it happen like that? Well, Bill Cosby, hey, let's, because children obeyed their parents back there. They respect their parents. Now your parent ain't shit now. Because that's Bill Cosby shit. You talk about your parents, you know more than your parents. That was the purpose. White folks wrote that stuff. Then it took, and right? It was close. Y'all had any divorce at all. So everybody knew. I lived near my black folks around Chicago. I lived there for years. No, they didn't know my next door neighbor. You know. This is about design. False Israel, let's get to the main point here. False Israel, the reason why they set that up in 48, because vision unites people. But what vision do we have? What vision do we have of the people? See, answer that question. What vision? See, Jews have a vision. They stole our vision. That's why they think they mastered everything. They think God's chosen people. That affected them because they unite under that idea. And they excel because they think they're special. So if you think you're special, you're going to excel. You're going to try to get better. If you think you're nothing, what the hell are you going to read a goddamn book for? If you think you're ignorant and you're ham and you're doing slave, what's the point of reading a damn book? Why study? God don't care nothing about you. So they stole our identity. And so they say, God, show people. So it's a handful of them, and they control the whole goddamn world. Because the knowledge they got says they're the best. So they seem to be the best. And you control not a goddamn thing, because they told you the worst. So you just accept the fact that you're the worst. You ain't nothing. And you don't have respect for your brother and sister, because you ain't nothing, so they ain't nothing either. As soon as they say something, man, where'd you get that from, bro? But when the devil says something, you don't ask him where he got it from. I had to put down my cousin because I got tired. I mean, all my life in this bullshit, and then I just got tired. You think so much. Yeah, I was telling something. I said, okay, I was trying to explain something. Is that your opinion? Where you get that from? I said, okay. I said, bye. I blocked her. I don't talk to her no more. That's where it comes from. Because you asked that devil what's his opinion, where he get that from. That's what we do to each other. I mean, because if you don't think you anything, somebody look like you, why you think they're anything? You don't know, you can't read, you can't write, you don't know anything, you ain't learned anything. So why should you expect? That's what happens. So false Israel, so we told, they flip everything around. On false Israel, they're the dumbest people on the planet, actually, right? And it falls, and so that unifies them. But what's the vision that unifies us? Tell me, what is the vision that unifies us? The Caucasians, they unite under the cross. All Christians, they unite them. Arabs, they unite under their form of Islam. Hindus, what unites us? Oh, the cross? The same cross that double-crossed us, that they beat and raped us under? You see what I'm saying? We don't have a vision. It says, a people without a vision perish. We do not have a vision as a people. The Jews do. They may have stole it, but they still have a vision as a people. So they work together. That keeps them connected, work together. Europeans have a vision as a people. Christianity, that keeps them working together. Hindus, they got a vision. Buddhists got a vision. Where's your goddamn vision? Nothing. Eddie Murphy, the clowns. What's his name? Steve Harvey, another clown. So he's a child. He wanted to be a clown. He's still a clown. So what division we have as a people? We're all over the place. So that's why we're not united. And that's why they put it up there, because Elijah Muhammad was uniting you as a people. Why do you think they got rid of Marcus Garvey? He was uniting you as a people too, because he's giving you a vision of Africa. You know what happened to Marcus Garvey? They threw his ass in jail over in Europe and England, and he stayed in jail the rest of his life, because he was giving you a vision. Elijah Muhammad was giving you a vision, right, going home and everything, and people should unite on that vision. You might not have been with Elijah Muhammad might in an organization, but you was with him, because everywhere you went, he was respected. If you wasn't a so-called Muslim, right, you was identifying one, because I remember when I didn't know what a Muslim was. I had no idea. Like my father took me to the temple before he passed. I didn't have no idea what that was about. I was about 12 years old. Right? But I remember before I went to the military, because if I knew what I knew now, I would never went to the military. I didn't know about history of slavery, all that kind of stuff. I knew that stuff, right? I used to read about it, but there wasn't any books about that. So I didn't know anything about it. I found out about it in the military. And then now, when I found out about it, I got the hell out of there. But I remember this brother, Hal Herring, and he put me in a tough guy. Me and him got into it a few times, right? No story. But they call him Bulldog. And he called himself an outlaw Muslim. Well, that sounds cool, man. I didn't know what it was. He's an outlaw Muslim. And, you know, because he's a little small, but he was supposed to be a gangster. He's supposed to be good with his hands and stuff. Because when I grew up, he had to box. I didn't know how to box because nobody ever taught me. I didn't know he was going to the gym. That's another story altogether. I ain't taking no shit from nobody. But the thing is that, so they started a little gang called Condors. So, you know, it was right, the fact they had the meetings right down in the basement where I was living at. And I lived right in the corner where I lived at. That was where everybody hung out at, right in that corner. So I was right in the middle of everything, so I knew everything was going on. And my father passed, I was about 15 years old. He passed when I was 14, about 15 years time. And he lived up a little further up. He lived in the neighborhood, but a few blocks away. About 10 blocks. Anyway, it's all story. Anyway, he used to come around, everybody, man. He was, talk his shit right. He was outlaw Muslim. That sounded cool, man. So he's gonna get us all together, man, and he got everybody together. We're supposed to go to this place. I guess it was a temple. I guess that's where he's gonna take us. We never got there. On the way, some brothers tried to steal a car and all this kind of stuff. The cops were chasing and everything else. He never do it. But yeah, outlaw Muslim. And that was cool. When I came back, right, I mean, he only knew it. Like Muhammad only knew it. You might not have been a Muslim, but you wanted to be. You associated with it. And they had to get rid of that. So they bring Farrakhan, he switched the whole thing around, but you got to be careful with it. Because you look at the meat of it, what's the meat? If you watch, go look at Master Muhammad's teachers, those devils, and they no good, they're 100% wicked, you're going to take them on the planet. That ain't what Farrakhan's saying. He wanted to help me, love for me. Then we ain't, because his father's a devil. That's a fact. Google it. In fact, I'm going to put the link in there where he's actually saying it. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Put a link in there. So he's a whole different idea. Then we ain't going anywhere. Well, that's why you don't talk about the Message of the Covenant. Because that Message of the Covenant suddenly come to Elijah's temple. He's the one that's the real, see, because he's actually Joshua in Exodus. They never talk about Joshua. They control the information you're getting. Because if you had that information, you wouldn't be with Farrakhan 2 seconds. And they rely on the fact that you ain't going to read, that you ain't going to try to think, because they already know that you you don't want to think at all because you haven't been thinking for 40 years. The devil master doing thinking for you. And so he's still doing thinking for you right now. He's still thinking for you right now. You don't know anything. You don't know how electricity works. You don't even know how your car works. You don't know anything about physics. You don't know anything about gravity. You don't know anything about algebra, trigonometry. You know how your cell phone works. You know the speed of light. What was that? What is light? How fast the planet, you might even realize we're on the planet. How fast it turns, how fast it moves. What causes summer, what causes winter. You don't know any of these things, but you're the God of the universe. And they'll show you none of those things. If Farrakhan don't teach those things, you get a lot of philosophy bullshit. They're going to tell you Sunday, oh, well, God made everything. He made everything. And he nourishes it to its perfection. Now listen, that's what I'm quoting him almost exactly. God created everything. Everything. And he nourishes it, gives it what it needs to nourish it to its perfection. Now, if that's true, right? Where the hell does Satan come from? That means he's nourishing Satan to his perfection. That's what he just said, ain't it? Farrakhan's bullshit. But they know you ain't going to think. So he can run that bullshit past you. Because they know you ain't going to think. They say you're going to hide something for a nigga, just put it in the book. I know that's true, guys. I already tried it. But you're going to think in a minute because, see, the problem is that they do anything. You got TV. Where do you know how the TV works? Nope. You turn it on, it's there. Got a car to turn on, right? I'm going to do for self. Make your own job. No. Master, give me a job. What if Master won't give jobs anymore? What if you don't get no electricity anymore? What if he won't let you buy a car anymore? What are you going to do then? Because Master's doing your thinking for you. So therefore, he controls your actions. He controls what you do, what you know, what you don't know. So you're still a slave. You're still his bitch. That's why we used to call him the man. See, that back in the day, we call, oh, that's the man. Why do you call him that? You ever heard of butt breaking? Because you had any black guys in there was, they were stronger than the rest of them. They looking like, they looked like they was, I don't want to say the Rock, because Rock, I don't know what he think he is, right? They were solid. And they didn't want, because remember, during that time, we was totally focused on the physical. We ain't really thinking. And so we was impressed by, to the extent we could be impressed, if he's naturally strong or muscular. Most of us anyway, because we're hard work. And where they had butt breakers. You can go Google it. So you don't have to take my word for it. And where they had these devils. And they would come around and they would take the biggest stud and they bend them over and they doom them in front of everybody. So they say he's just a bitch, like the rest of y'all. That's where the word the man. He's the man come because we weren't men, they were the men. And they do us too. So that's the man. Where it come from? You ain't know where these things come from. So, what would you think if somebody beat your mama, rape your mama, put all kinds of stuff in her mouth that she don't eat, and you watching it? And then afterwards, they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. Thank you, Jesus. I'm gonna be," and you're gonna say, "Okay, forgive you." Is that how you gonna react to that? See, because that whole Jesus stuff is for you. So they can say, "Oh, just forget about it," because Jesus said, "Forget about it." You see, just forgive. You're a good Christian, right? You're supposed to forgive me all the shit I did to your mama. Forgive me for all that, man. You're a Christian, ain't you? Fuck that. That's not for you, because they don't do it. They practice that Christianity they pushing on you. They practice it. What's Christianity done for you the last 40 years? Rape you, beat you, genocide, terrorized. It took hundreds of years. And these people had cross around their neck. They took this land. It was Christians. They said, no, by their works. Fuck Christianity. It's a lie. And that lie, fucking Jesus, is a lie too. It's all a lie. In fact, if you look in scriptures, there's no Jesus anywhere. Oh, now it just ran to the book. See? No. Look at the manuscript. Go to the manuscript. Don't go to that bullshit book they gave you. They translated. Look at the manuscript they translated from. Hebrew, Aramaic. You won't find the name Jesus anywhere. The name you'll find is Joshua. So how did Jesus come from? They made it up. I got to explain to you, and you can check it out. I get $1,000, you prove them wrong. Made it up. Because they want you to know about Joshua. Because you go read Joshua, the measure of the covenant. The one that comes to Elijah's temple. The one who take home. The one that Pharaoh I don't know what you know nothing about. Joshua, he's the Messiah. Christ is not in the Bible either. It's not in the manuscripts. Nowhere. The name is Joshua the Messiah. That's why they don't tell you. Because Joshua's the Messiah. That thing they made up, Jesus, he don't exist, never did. Tell me I'm lying. Go check it out. Check it out. Get $1,000. You put them wrong. See if you find Jesus and Christ in the manuscripts that they translated from. They had to go to the Greek to get that. Why they translate from the manuscript to Greek and then translate it back? That's where they got Jesus from. You heard Zeus? That's the god of the Greeks, supreme being. And Jesus is a prefix that means like geology, geophysics. Those are Greek words. And we put G in front of it. It's a prefix like transport, transformation, transfer, moving something, right? Transform. That's the prefix for earth. So that Zeus is God of the heavens, God. So who be God of earth? Jesus. Where they got it from? Then they translated it back from the Greek. That's where they got it from. Prove me wrong. They don't want you to know about Joshua. Because then, where's Joshua? Oh, Joshua's the one that God came to Moses after the people was in 40 years. See, it's too clear. They're 40 years. Then Joshua, God came and got Moses, Elijah. Elijah picked a spokesman, Aaron, Farrakhan, who the gods didn't anoint, because he told Aaron, he got mad at Moses, so you don't need him. He was against it, so he didn't anoint him. And then Elijah goes away after 40 some years, and leaves, and Aaron takes charge, and he tore everything up, messed everything up, tried to turn people back to Egypt, turn the hearts back to the devils, had worked the golden calf and every damn thing else. Right? And Joshua, right, he was with Moses, but it was in the hands of Aaron. He was with Elijah. And then after that, Aaron was taken down, all his people was cast out, and Joshua took charge and took us home. That's the story in Exodus. That don't story matches Farrakhan, because they tell you, they get you up to Aaron, they stop right there. Cold, right there. But Aaron never got to the promised land. He died in the wilderness along with his followers. It was Joshua. That's the name you find in the manuscripts. Joshua, the Messiah. That's what Christ means, the Messiah. It's there. I get $1,000 to prove wrong. $1,000 if you can prove wrong. That's what I want you to know. Because Farrakhan's with them. They control information. That's why they don't tell you. Why would he tell you about Joshua? He never mentions it. Why? Why he never mentioned the covenant? Why? Joshua's a mention of the covenant. What covenant? They don't mention Joshua. They don't mention the covenant either. And he actually called God liars. He said, we ain't going nowhere. The covenant says, no, we're going home after 400 years here. And so after the 400 years, the plague will start. They let us go. And the plague hit right away. COVID, bam. Right on time. And he didn't mention it, did he? He had so-called Savior's Day 2 months later, end of February, and didn't mention it one time. And then he finally jumped up and mentioned it 7 months later. And somebody said, well, how come you didn't say anything about it? You was 2 months in. Oh, nobody knew about it till March. It was a goddamn lie. Everybody knew about it. And you walk around with a mask. Why you walk around with a mask? You say you protected. That's what's going on, bro. I told you it's a mind war. Let me bring you up to date. I'm going to close. I didn't even get to my main subject, bro. Bring up to date. Like I told you, one of the things happening over there is that false Israel got about, you know what? Because like I said, they had infiltrators, incognito, that was actually talking to Trump and all these other people, how they talk about us in the background when they think we ain't around. And they record it secretly. And that's why they don't want this Epstein to come out, because some of that is in there. Because then you find what they really saying on tape, hearing them, what they really think, their plans against you. That's why they're doing everything they can to keep them coming out. But they know it's will come out. So they got this one woman. See, these are Democrats don't know. So they got this one woman that give them the vote, that allowed them, and they doing everything to keep her. But they got to kill her, or she come out, they got to release it. So they know they got to do it anyway. Then why they postpone it? Because they want to make sure that trap they got around you is tight. And now they're trying to do things right now to make. Because right now, what they put those, it says against the law, it's illegal. How can the courts ain't say anything? He put troops in the cities. They can't do that. That's against the Constitution. They put them in. So now because they try to do it because they know they're trying to get they got you closed in, and once they expose that and you explode, bam, they got you. That's what they hold them, because they can't hold it back another few more days. So they got to rush and make sure this. Trump said, yeah, we got to get it in Chicago. All these cities, you got to get the troops in there. When that comes out, you're going to explode, bam. Plus what's going on over there, because that's what's going to fall through over there right now. That's another part of it. They can't let falsehoods go down. Because falsehoods go down, that means, because if they true Abraham, they can't go down. They believe forever. When they go down, that means it wasn't. That means that vision is lost. And the true vision, that means you have to be this, because it was there to keep you from realize you are. So you say, oh, but if they're not there, that means you have to be. And that's a unifying vision. That means that's why the Bible says you come together immediately immediately. You come together immediately and see what happened that made you come together like that quickly. So 4 winds blow and you came together just like that. What would happen to make our people be united as a seemingly great army just like that? That's not talking about falsehood, but you don't realize it's talking about you. And whatever happens is going to make you come together just like that. Because you're going to have a common vision. The old vision got destroyed. So no, you couldn't have been them. That's just a couple of things. It's a whole lot more to it. But I'm just giving you a couple of things here. That's what's going on over there. So they got to protect them no matter what. But the problem is, they don't want them either. These Christians hate the Jews too. They've hated them for 2,000 years. But they need them to keep us from waking up. And they know that's why they need them, because they only put them at 48. Only reason they put them there, the neutralized what Elijah Muhammad was doing. Because he was saying we're true to Abraham. So they put them there, that's why they did it. But remember, they was killing them just a few days before. All of them, all the Europeans, all the Christians was killing them. They didn't give a damn. Nobody was trying to help them. So how can they start kissing their ass the next day? Because that's and they know that. The false Jews know that. And they know they're closing on us. So that's why they're so panicking over there. They got to move fast. Do what? They got all the nuclear weapons to take over the Middle East. And the only way they can do it, they got to take out Iran. They got to control the Middle East. Then they got the Europeans by it, because they got to control all the oil over there. And they got nuclear weapons. They can defend themselves. Now they can retaliate, right? But they got to do it before they take us out. When they take us out, they don't need them anymore. Then let Iran take them out. You understand what's going on here? See, when you have all the facts, then stuff makes sense then. Because right now, it don't make no sense what's going on. Why they doing this? Why they doing that? That's what's going on. That's what's going on. It's all about you. So that's why in the rush, they got to do this quick. Because they know they're getting ready to take you out. And once they take you out, they don't need them anymore. That's what's going on. And they tell me, hey, if you don't back us, we're gonna expose the truth to them. Because we wake up before they take us out, then they got a problem. They got war in their hands. And we find out what they really planning, we'll wake up before they got. You see, that's what's really going. Then start making sense. Oh, that's why they're doing it. That's why they're doing what they're doing. That's why they don't kill. They kill anything in their way, anything. And that's why they don't care about what they're killing over there. Because they live. See, for that, look, if your life's on the line, you kill anything around you. That's why they don't care about killing those people over there. Because they got to get rid of them. They got to take over the Middle East before they get rid of us, or they're gonna get rid of them. So they eradicate anything in their way. That's why they act like they're acting. And then America's in trouble. That's why, because when you get violent, that means you lose control. That's why it's so violent over there, because they're desperate. When you get desperate, start getting violent, you don't care. You kill anything. They're so desperate. They're desperate, man. They got to move fast. They're doing it really fast. I mean, they're moving. Say, why are they doing so aggressive? Why so sudden? Why doing? Because they know they got to move fast. Because they know they see what's going over here. Because they got the plans. They already talked to people in the background. They thought they was just like them, rednecks like them, and they was Jews. Father Israel, and they got all the information. And they know exactly what the plans, everything is. They want that whole thing would blow up. And so that's what's going on. We got to figure out how we're going to do this, man. And all we got to do before they take them out. How can we take them out? Right? Before they get control, you see? That's what's going on, kabuki dance. If you understand that, you understand what's going on. The ones that know, they know. The other ones, they oh man, I just want to protect this. Because they do that, that's the information they got from the sealed Bible. The book was getting at them. So those two all together, right? That's so they got because hey, based on that, we have this supreme being. I mean, God chose people, so everybody acted according to those. But the sealed Bible is sealed. Somebody came in because it's sealed. That means that's information. But information is only for a season. That's the winter. It's made for the winter. It's sealed Bible. But spring comes in, the seals are broken, and all of a sudden, new information coming in. Now, new information coming in, but it's bad for them. Because if you're a winter person, spring information is bad for you. Because your whole empire is melting. It's based on ice and snow and cold and winter. Now it's falling apart. It's melting before your eyes. All your powers melt before your eyes. And spring is coming in. And people in spring now, they're starting to get strong. And you lose control of them. And you don't understand it because you never. Hey, what's the spring thing, man? You know, all your life you live in the winter. You know about in spring. Spring comes, you get nervous. What's this? But you know, man, you start to get sunburns and things, right? All your system is melting. Your power there is melting everything else. Okay? Global warming. Oh man, see, it's warm, man. There's something wrong. Because that's to you. That's bad. But spring people, that's good. Global warming is good for us. Bad for them. It destroys their civilization. The destruction of their civilization means now there's room for our civilization. They don't want you to see it that way. Because they want you to think, hey, our civilization, their civilization, but they control it. We just little monkeys in it. So therefore, we're like back in the fields. Remember Django? When Master got killed, Master, man. That's the attitude we got. Oh, we don't see the America go down, man. What's my Master? See? But, because we don't know who we are. Yeah, we're glad it's going down. We're glad global warming is because global warming is going to destroy civilization. And first, it's going to mostly all this all the major cities on the coastlines. All those coastlines, the world's going to rise and take them all out. They tell you, gold woman's bad. No, it's bad for them. Gold woman is good for us because now bringing a new world, all the two poles, those are continents up there. Very fertile land, everything else under that snow. Go to Google and take my word for it. They find all kinds of animal life, and vegetation, everything on the ice. But because of energy deprivation, all the energy going out there, the earth cool down. And then you got the water starting freezing on the poles. You got deserts. Because you have less energy here. Then energy's coming back. Then start being energized. See, when you understand the fact, you understand what's going on. But if you don't understand the facts, oh man, I love a woman. I gotta stay in America. No. They control it. And this information coming in, it's destroying information. So now they're desperate. They're trying to maintain control. Now they want, see, because when you lose control, you start getting violent. So Trump wants to kick everybody's ass. He want to go take Greenland. He want to take Venezuela. He want to do that. Fight with everybody. He make enemies terrorists. Oh, that's desperation. I'm trying to hold on to power. That's what, see, you got to be able to read these things. They're losing. He said, what when envies? That means they start losing power. They start losing control over you. They don't get rid of you. They're going to try. Because they lose control. And they definitely want to lose control of us because we might get vengeance. And it's justified. That's what they do double them and it's done to you. If you, I'm trying to get a full picture of what's going on here, bro. So I'm going to leave it here. I didn't even get to my main topic, bro. But I'm trying to get you to understand what's going on here. Let me see if I can get any of this. How much I can get any of this. See what I got here. I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I don't know, there's so much going on. Okay, see here? Bloodbath. Now, we're talking about in the Injil, and that's what we talked about tomorrow. I taught it yesterday, right? It's going to be a bloodbath. Something's got to happen before this happens. Something very special is going to happen in a minute. It's probably haven't happened already. Something will happen in a minute. And then it's going to be a bloodbath both Israel and in Arabia. Total bloodbath. That war resumes. It's going to be a war between the Shia and the Sunni. War between the Shia and MAGOG and Antichrist, false Israel. They're going to take control of the region. False Israel is going to be on the siege, and they're going to be cannibalism. It's going to be terrible. And the so-called, the Palestinians, right? That in other words, I've been telling you, they've been writing the obituary because what they're doing is going to suddenly backfire, turn on them. They're going to be starved, they're going to be killed. Everything they're doing right now is going to be turned on them in spades. It'll be a bloodbath, and there'll be no pity. The people, they're full of hatred. Now they're going to turn back on them. Just imagine all they're doing to the people in Palestine right now, and all of a sudden they can return the favor. Which thing's going to be like? It's going to be a bloodbath like you can't imagine. It's the father eat the son, son eat the father. It's going to be a bloodbath there. It's going to be a bloodbath in Arabia too. It's going to be a bloodbath. Not just between the Shia and the Sunni, but within it'll be a bloodbath. It'll be a bloodbath between us, the women and the males too. Because women's being oppressed by them for hundreds of years. So you're going to get, it's going to be a bloodbath. When I say bloodbath, I mean a bloodbath. They're going to turn that place to blood. I ain't talking about the seas and stuff. I'm talking about they're going to turn into blood. Because the sea is going to be left, right? The warfare is going to be in the deserts because the sea is not going to be, because we're going home. It says you're going to be home to house you have not built. All I said to build over there right now is ours. Like I said, we get home, right? Joshua, he's one. Remember, Joshua's he's the general that leads on. He's the warlord that leads armies. Master Muhammad is the Air Force. It says he's in the clouds protecting Joshua everywhere he goes. I'm with you wherever you go. Don't worry about it. I will not forsake you. I got your back. Anybody come at you, I got your back. He's going to kick ass. He's on the ground. He's a warlord on the ground. He's the warlord in the sky. That's where it says in Exodus. But Joshua, he gets you back home, and now we got to take it back from Ishmael, who stole it from us. Take our land back. It's going to be a fight in the desert like you imagine. But before we get there, it's going to be a bloodbath. When Iran takes over, they're going to cause a bloodbath over there. What's left, what we're going to have to deal with when we get over there. There's going to be a bloodbath. And then when they see that, America and Britain be kicked out of there. And it says, men's hearts be filled for fear of those things come from earth, because the powers have be shaken. That means in America, what they see over there, that bloodbath, they know it's coming here. They know it's coming here. They get some idea how bad it is, because it says they're going to have heart attacks just thinking about. They know it's coming here. If they have heart attacks just in anticipation of it coming here, what do you think it's going to be like when it gets here? That's what it is. And when you're talking about those, the 6 seals, all of them is talking about what's going to happen to America. See, I never revealed that before. I never point out that clearly. But all this seals, when you see those 6 seals, 7 seals, it's all talking about what's going to happen to America. God. So what about MAGOG? Well, MAGOG will go out fast. They going to I don't know, this is going to have some mercy on them, because it says the leopard going to take the goat. So they're going to take him out real just like that. Boom, bam. Drop a bomb on him, because it's an island country anyway. So they're going to have it easy compared to MAGOG, the Gog. With bloodbath here. Men's hearts filled with fear those things come from earth, because the powers have been shaken. So it'll be a bloodbath over here like you can't imagine. I mean, it's going to be a total bloodbath. I ain't talking about like just some sheds of blood. No, it's going to be a bloodbath. Blood holocaust, if you will. Just think about how those politicians feel when they get the upper hand. How do you think what they're going to do? Look what's been done to them. What do you think they're going to do? Bloodbath in Arabia. Turn the desert into blood. Soaked in blood. American business kicked out, and now America knows. They see it, they know it's coming to them here. We're doing this year, brothers and sisters. This year. This year. So I'm not going to go any further, brothers and sisters. But let me try to get to this. Okay. The Bible is sealed. So he's coming out of the sealed Bible. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because they're talking about the Bible. Master Elijah Muhammad talked about the sealed Bible too. He didn't break the seals. So he couldn't know what Revelation, if they knew Revelation was saying, the seal was open. They didn't break the seals. Even Elijah Farrakhan hasn't claimed to have broken the seals. Elijah Muhammad never made that claim. Master Muhammad never did. The Lamb would do it. Nobody could do it but him. So that means the sealed Bible is for a season. And they operate on sealed Bible. But now this one coming out and it's blowing this away. It's high pressure. It's blowing away. It's low pressure. It's bringing us this reality. Remember, this reality that we're in is based on the sealed Bible. This reality. So the new reality, he breaks those seals. That's why we see every time he broke the seal, something happened. The new reality is coming in. It's blowing away that one. The new reality. But seals break down everything. It shows everything's upside down with the sealed Bible. It was on the bottom, on top, and so forth. But now, unsealed Bible, right? Seals broken. That's flipped around. So we're the gods. They're the misfits. They're the demons and devils.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it comes.
I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna close out, bro. Since I'm gonna probably do this tomorrow. Let something else come up. I didn't even get to all I wanted to get to what I had planned for today.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass, that, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
This is what they plan for us. That's false. So that's us they talking about. See, they think it's false Israel, so you sit around, keep eating with chitlins and watching NBA. Because they're talking about you.
They have said, Come, and let's wipe them out as a nation, so that the name of Israel will no longer be remembered.
It's their plans, and they're putting it in effect. They got Trump to do it. He's founding, that Israel, that's the name made up. They're putting it purposely. Because what? It means we Israel. We Israel. Get the point? It falls Israel. We Israel. We see Abraham. Them. I'm going to leave it there, bastards. Assalamu alaikum. This is the plague of flies, but I'm not getting to it right now. Maybe tomorrow, brothers and sisters. The plague of flies deal with so-called false Jews, anti-Semitism. I'll get to probably tomorrow. Well, I gotta speak to this. Self-deception. They go out and say stuff like this, talk cars about, well, this whole based on Christianity. Christianity is about helping people and all that kind of stuff. Self-deception. In other words, they're eating their own shit. Eating their own shit, and they call it honey. Because to say the shit they saying, it's like they got to change history. But what good's Christianity done? When they was up in Europe for 1,000 years, they didn't invent one thing, no innovation. All they did was kill each other, rape, murder, and everything else up there amongst themselves. So there's no surprise that when they got out, it wasn't all over the world. All the world was doing that was them doing it. Unbound Christianity, they're known by their works. So they delude themselves. Oh well, no, your so-called Jesus is a monster. He cursed us black. He put people in hell for nothing. Then he created them, and then he put them in hell for being flawed when he's the one caused the flaw. That's not what the Bible said, but that's their interpretation of it. Like I said, they eat no shit, and they call them honey. They delude themselves. Like Christianity, Christianity is the one. How does Christianity help the world? Because number of deception and destruction. Murder, rape, genocide. That's what Christianity brought to the world. Okay? Self-deception. So eating their own shit and calling it honey. That's how you can justify this stuff. This is Joshua. On that day, the Lord magnified Joshua in the sight of all of Israel, and they feared him. They feared Moses all the days of his life. So why they jump past Aaron? Because Aaron was no goddamn good. That's Farrakhan. It went from Moses to Joshua. Passed over Aaron. That's why they don't speak to Joshua. They never mention why. It's going to be just like with Moses, with Elijah. Why did they never mention? Never. Not a peep. Okay, I gotta close. See, C-bomb is consequence bomb. They told us that to submit. That means all the pain and affliction they put on us for 20 years, we held it up. So they was fueling. We was creating a C-bomb by doing that. Because every reaction has an opposite reaction. So if you don't react, that means you're just holding it up. You just dam it up. But once that dam breaks, then it comes in a flood. See, you got a stream going, but if you dam it up, it builds up. Well, it builds up real so much. That dam breaks, then you got a flood. So what happens is, that's why it says all the hell come in one day, in 1 year. 500 years of hell that they put on us come back at them from us, doing them as it's done to you. So they fuel the C-bomb, consequence bomb by keep doing all the shit to us. But we constructing it by holding it in. Don't do anything, submit. And then we took all we could take, then we explode. That's why I told God, they tried to tell Pharaoh, who was giving him a hint, let them out your house, because they're about to explode. You don't explode your house. He didn't, so it exploded. So what was the explosion? Those plagues. Those plagues were the explosion. That was the quality of the explosion. That's not all together. And right now, in the Middle East, they've been oppressing women for over 1,000 years over there. They build C-bomb too. They go all in, all of a sudden, boom. So when hell breaks loose over there, they're going to also have a gender war. Oh, it's going to be terrible. A bloodbath coming near you over in Arabia. Okay, I'm going to close there, bro. So that's not going to go. One place right quick, bro, says I think is worth. I got a few minutes, right? Because you're talking about the Messiah. Brown calls us Messiah, so sound like see the Messiah has to say he claims he's Messiah. So you be the judge.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadafuddin and I have had disagreement. But his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
Your brothers and sisters, I love America. I want to stay here. Want white folks good. I want to, America don't want to destroy it. Want to forgive America. What the Master Rama says. It says impossible to reform devils. They are 100% wicked, evil. You can't wait to destroy them.
I am come to send.
So who's the liar there? Master Rama says impossible to reform devils. His lessons. They are, I got to spell that right. They are 100% evil. He can't wait to destroy them, but that's not what Farrakhan's saying. So who is he with?
49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I, if it be already kindled? 50. But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how am I straitened till it be accomplished? 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. 52. For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. 53. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Which one is the real Messiah? Tell me. Okay, now watch this one. Hold on. I keep forgetting this. Now, here, right? Watch this. He told you how he feel about devils. How he loved them, master. How he loved them so much. He want to forgive them. He want everything to work for them, right? See how much he loved them, right? But watch this. What he say about you. Both sides, male and female. This is how he feel about you. Okay? You know how you feel about them? They all that shit they did to us and everything else, right? 20 years, terror, rape, murder, butt breaking, their whole nine, fetish shit, shitlings, right? But that's how you feel about them, right? But now, that's how I feel about you, who made them rich. So you got rich off Nation Islam because you don't have a business anywhere. He made some both millionaires. How did he get that? He didn't produce a goddamn thing. Somebody he rebuilt Nation Islam. He didn't. I was there. He built nothing. So listen how you feel about you.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, brother. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, brother.
Both sides.
That's real.
Wake us up, dear Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right.
We owned buildings. We owned farmland. We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
Boy, say how you feel about you. Both sides. He neglects to say he's the one that killed the nation. He neglects to say that part. Him and Wallace ripped the nation, ripped it off, robbed the nation, took all assets, destroyed it, got rid of started something called the Bilalians. So when Muslim was alive, who killed him? You did. And you ripped him off. And you never get that money back. Everything we worked for, we left with nothing. All that stuff, all that work, hard work, brothers and sisters worked for, helping the messenger, and you got rid of it, ripped the money, you got the money. Him and your son, both millionaires. That ain't business. Muslim was alive. Who killed him? Okay, I'm definitely going now, bro. Says Assalamu alaikum.
We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these are these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work, well, until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
When they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics. I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people, and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for, 4 more years? And so you wonder, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself, and I completely understand the anger. I don't like you. I abhor any form of violence, but I do understand the anger when you have, Keir Starmer campaigned on, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country. And they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle, certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. Of course, it's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
I'm reaching a point of saying we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is like, is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. Like, it's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. Like, that was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, like, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are, and that's real, and no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? Like, the population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just like, let your eyes tell you the truth for once. Like, this is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. I mean, there's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident, that's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I mean, I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist. I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK, most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
Wait, it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law... What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is a lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been such a thing.
Is
one culture will dominate.
Hang on, Tucker. Surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
Though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It was just like 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, as American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. I mean, the gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multiculture there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society, because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
Your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and and that's had, what is it, 26, 27 amendments, right? So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere
but those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, what is it, 26, 27 amendments, right? So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. Natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one culture, one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. That's just what it is, dude. Let's be honest.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, but shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of the world. I certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization. And so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what a society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Which one? And you can't face that reality. So you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you're going to wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization as my country as a sad, disgusting, what's the rest of it, suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe, and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country.
And as I clarified,
it's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian, and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is...
The Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans that were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white. We were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation.
It's not fine, because it's leading to violence that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all pretend that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's.
No, because you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different, and you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
Well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful.
Does your religion dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being, to be good to my neighbors, to
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is now what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because You know these people very, very well.
Yeah.
You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people. But this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, I mean, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe, and I've been saying this, I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored, of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech, where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying if you are Black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk at only 31, the impact he had because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people of color and Black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting in to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe. He literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, what's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president, and yet he had time today to do a radio show for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even, Roland, they're not even subtle about it, what this White House is doing. They believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division. And that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful. Why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all of these people talk about, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well, the indoctrination. We've had people who formerly with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure, as they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman, and if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry, he's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed. Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff with Charlie Charlie Kirk. Fly his body on Air Force Two. Do a memorial service at the Kennedy Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Van said in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. Oh, I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable
to say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh, my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along those lines. And this whole idea about, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for one semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that one semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalized him? I mean, it really is showing folks the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand, now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7, rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians, in the name of Jesus, where they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was into it was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. As they're doing today. They took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets knowing they was full with disease, herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. Didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping out women, they had a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught black, and this was God's will. God's will. Enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered its people. And you crushed the native people here. When the Braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus, what could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate and slave and slave in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so he couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. There's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? The legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mainship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel. What's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing for ripping off everyone. That's the legacy of Christianity. It's been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
and going westward or going out there in the land, ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
That do it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, watching to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves, bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will you and I, turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man said you were free. Remember that.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and we're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. And there was an agreement made. A former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and trade it for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go to where it's sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we're getting reports of how things are going over there. And it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations. Because they was given, they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see? Yeah. Yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. They was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them, they stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land. And they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, they were just, did some things wrong, but now they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Okay? Say, thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we came, man. We made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. So we're in Arabia. They're still back in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they have big and massive. They came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, but he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told him 6 states to promise him that he would have prepared him for it, right? Their schools and education, whatever they needed for that. But now I guess they didn't, because they said over there now they're begging the former master to come and turn the power back on. And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They say, they looked and the farmers wasn't ain't doing it. Farmers said, oh. So then they had master, what's happening here? How come you know, right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now they master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour back's coming in, right? And then they look, and they had, a year ago, they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now, and all the food's gone. It's gone. She said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? And so they've been praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's Master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparation, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic covenant, Arabia. Your brothers and sisters, they left, they took that was offered to them, they took it. And you said, no, I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh, man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. That's you. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff was coming every hour, man. Like a year, they was celebrating. And now they crying and begging the Master, hey, we got all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. Where you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes, no nowhere. We don't know about fly the planes and to drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. Well, what you done this for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and get to train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was your reparations. So then if you didn't pay people to take care of this, how is that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, man. And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to, for them to replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep they thought that was just going to, I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See? And they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They ain't, business, they didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan, he told you he's going to get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, said, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, call on your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here. Right? See? You don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, because, I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he said, God said that's where he's going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, it does say, look, hold it. We want total separation from, look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1,000,000, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. That's all economics. So they go and tell it. They tell all the people all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, and ain't no integration, that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other, so they're there. So he said, okay, right? So they just say, we're going to take that money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money, you have your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Transfer all your dollars into gold. Right? Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million apiece. So everybody got $1 million apiece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation, right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say $1 million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounce, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. If you're going to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold, right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one. But say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one's worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates has to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So if $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right, then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing their wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They told to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's what all this worth. $1. Hardly worth anything. Oh, what about you? Hey, that's our money. You gotta have your money, you gotta control your wealth. You can't keep coming at us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you've been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me he had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you bury it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on the money, hope to increase again, they just use another different certificate, use another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you was so happy with now, it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything with $1. Plus the economy's collapse because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair. You don't know how to build communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You're not an engineer, build a house. You don't know how to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything, right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You still had your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you want to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. That's you chose. You stay there. They closed the border, so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you call your land now? Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe call it travel land. Farrakhan. They met the Farrakhan, right? So they close the borders, you can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master, I'll come back work for you, I'll work for Popeyes, I'll do anything you want. No, remember, now blacks, either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, any places, just in that land, that you 6 states. And now you're starving, you ain't got your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, you on the phone, you talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of them niggas. Finally got rid of them. See on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. You turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See? They could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold that for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. So what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything that we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray. That's his answer. Pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they thought you think they want to give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? How much that is? If it's 17 million, if it's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. Then they're gonna do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they have succeeded. Because they closed the border. What you gonna do? You gonna fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember, he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, when it was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Pharaoh ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. And this homeland you was promised, you rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and living in the get up on Section 8, all that stuff right here, because they're trying to get rid of that stuff right now. Trump's trying to get rid of all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Boys, come here. Disaster over there. And, I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold it. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call it. We call it Conland or something. I forgot what something they call it right there. That 6 day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked Master Farah Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the Master said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farah Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. Master, no, we can't come and get you. You made your choice, live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to them. Said, we please come and get them. Nope. Said, no, tell them no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land. You got your reparations. You got your money. You got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him. Talk to him. Let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations. We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, telling you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Oh, so you're not getting more reports on Okay, he says that was Matthew Prophet Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those guys that came in. All that came in today, man, came in fast. After a whole year, total collapse. Now they're begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, well, we at least send them some food. They begged, said, please send us some food. Master Muhammad said, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send us some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send us some food. He says, no, he refused. I said, I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's read to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. He said, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay, just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.